Hello and welcome to another SDA Q&A. I've got my good friend here, Lance Cameron Eggy. Welcome back to SDA Q&A, Lance. Great to see you.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here once again, and I'm so happy to once again see you all guys here in this lovely community.
Well, mate, you're very welcome and you're very cherished amongst the SDA Q&A members, especially those that were following us early on. I'm going to tell my side of the story and then I want you to share your side of the story. And I was about to finish SDA Q&A. I'd done season 1, which, by the way, is available everyone on podcast, your favorite podcast platform. There's about 27 interviews there, I think. And I'd been putting out an episode every few months. And I got an email from Lance, and he said, I've just been listening to your first 3 interviews with Dr. Desmond Ford, and very interesting. I'm training to be a Seventh-day Adventist pastor, and I'm interested in all the things that have happened in the church history-wise. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? And I think I said a couple of things, and then you said, "Hey, wouldn't it be good if you interviewed Dr. Bill Johnson, Dr. William G. Johnson?" And I wrote back and I said, "Look, I wouldn't even know where to begin to contact him. I'm about to kind of wrap up the show. I've left the church, and I just don't think it's possible." And anyway, a little bit of time flows by. Lockdown hits. COVID's in full swing, and but a short time later, I get an email from you saying, "Hey, I've booked an interview with you and Dr. William G. Johnson for next week, and here's his email. Send him the link when you're ready." And so I thought, oh, well, hey, I'll give it a go. So I wrote down season 2 and set it up so we could go live via video and Zoom into our Facebook group. Today we're being watched on several platforms, including Twitter, but also live to YouTube now. And as I was watching my monitor, which used to be down the side here, I noticed our group growing from 200, 250 people requesting to join the group. And by the end of the interview, there were over 600 members had joined. And I thought, oh, well, maybe we'll do a little Glacier View 40th anniversary retrospective. And
And
I
we thought that
remember
we thought it was only going to be a mini series, like 5
exactly,
episodes.
exactly. I literally remember saying to people, because it must have been April, and I remember saying to people, look, we're going to do, 5 or 6, we're going to do throughout March, we're going to do some interviews. And I remember just noticing the group growing and people really enjoying the content. And then I invited Gillian Ford to come on the program, and she hesitated at first, but once she saw the momentum that was happening and the great way I was hoping to kind of paint an unbiased view of both sides of the story at the time, she came on board, and then she started recommending a whole bunch of people. And then between you and me and her, and Adrian Anderson was helping out around then too, we started getting all these names. And that season 2 was completed when we hit 86 interviews. So yeah, that's a long way of sharing my side of it. And I just want to thank you so much, because this whole, second wind that SDA Q&A got wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you. So what are your memories of that time? What you'd stumbled across the podcast? What happened?
Yeah, I was looking for some great Adventist content on Google Podcast, and I happened to stumble across SDAQ&A, and then I looked at the episodes, and the first 3 episodes popped up the screen, and it was about Desmond Ford. Now, I happen to know something about Des Ford because I was raised in last generation theology, ultra conservative Adventist setting, and I was during that time beginning to understand what the gospel was all about. And then I happened to know Des Ford through his YouTube channel. And then came across the episodes, and the first episode went well. It got me excited, and then the second episode where you delved into Adventist history, and then episode three. And what was going through my mind at that time was, what if we can do something in interviewing the people who are still alive during Glacier View and having them to tell also the story? Because while Dr. Ford may be a polarizing figure within Adventism, but I believe back then, and as I still do now, that the whole truth about him, like the good and the other side, hasn't been rightly said about him. And so I wanted to help in that retelling of the story by the people who were there and the people who were affected by it. So I got to contact Bill Johnson and then the other guys. And from there, it was the start of a new beginning for me and for SDAQ&A.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and thanks for recounting your side of it as well. I remember the very first interview. So those watching, if you want to go and watch this interview, hang on a second. Come here. For some reason, my little pet dogs have just gotten into the studio here. I'm going to have to take them out, or they're going to cause havoc. But I was going to say, in that very first interview, season 2, episode 1 with Bill Johnson, you actually were a part of the interview as well, and you asked him questions. I always remember feeling bad because I know you had a few more questions in you to ask him, but I had to kind of wrap it up because his wife was saying, "Hey, we're going to head off."
Yeah.
Do you remember what the extra questions were that you were going to ask him? And I'll just take the dog out while you recount that to our viewers.
All right. So what I only remembered back then during my time with Bill Johnson was that he told me how he loved the Philippines, how he knew my school, and that he loved visiting my school, which is Mountain View College, by the way. And then how he loved durian, which is a fruit that is common here in the Philippines, but I don't love, but happens to be well loved by foreigners coming to the Philippines. So it was a great experience getting to know Dr. Johnson. I only knew him from the John Ankerberg series, which I happened to stumble when I was around 14 years old. And having to know him in person and getting him to send his book to me with his autograph, it's a memory and an experience that I will forever cherish.
He
Thanks
he
to FAQ&A.
he very much warmed to you. I know that even when I'd kind of wrapped up your questions, he started asking you some questions, and he wanted to
Yeah,
find out more about you. And um, I remember it being a very warm exchange. I also remember
yeah,
that because he'd retired, he was able to share a lot more information than he'd been able to when he was a younger man. And some of the things he outlined that he hadn't said in the 1984 interview, you actually teased out of him. You asked him some questions about the 10-point statement, the consensus document, the 2 parts consensus document. And one of the questions I remember you asked him was the 10-point statement voted on, and he said no, it wasn't. I might be wrong, but my memory says that he said it wasn't even read out, I think, on the Friday morning, and it was wheeled out later. There's some conflicting views there, and Gillian might be watching, and she might be able to tell us that. You're at the time you were studying theology, and
yeah,
I remember because I often ask people to be on the show, and they're a little bit concerned about being on SDAQ&A because they feel that I'm presenting some what would you say, controversial material sometimes, and so they don't want to kind of have their career impacted,
right.
and so some people don't want to be on the show. Um, but I remember you were very willingly able to be on there, but you were also able to get across that you love the Adventist Church, you're studying to be a pastor, and this was more just a way to gain historical insight into the church that you love.
Right.
Um, so, did you find that there was some pushback from your lecturers at the time? I seem to remember that they were pretty supportive of you being on the program. Can
Yeah,
you share some
actually,
of that?
right. I was actually supported by people who know me because they know what I think, they know who I am, they know what my intentions are, and so having me to work alongside SDAQ&A, they supported the whole thing. And there was even this one experience wherein when we interviewed George Knight, that we were having a class back then, but the interview was shown in the class wherein George Knight was asking questions, even the hard questions that you were uh, pointing out to him. Like I was so happy that yeah, they were all very supportive, and it brought to light some misconceptions about what happened back then. Because I believe that the good and the bad, the truth must be told, because
Yes,
truth has nothing to fear.
exactly. Yes. And that's been demonstrable in your life. You're in the Adventist Church. We're going to talk a little bit about what you're doing now, some great things there. In fact, I'm going to be inviting people soon to even get in touch with you to help with a project you're working on. I'll tell people more about that in a few minutes. But yeah, we'll come to that in a moment. I remember too, and look, I'm the kind of guy that will have 10 ideas going on at once, and only one of them will actually find come to fruition. But at the time, I remember thinking you would be great to run a SDA Q&A youth kind of podcast, and we chatted a bit about it. But you were flat out with your studies and stuff, and so it was something that just didn't come about. But that's something I'd love to chat to you more about, because you're a skilled at interviewing people. So maybe I'm just planting a seed publicly that maybe we could have a little side project that you could oversee and interview interesting young people and get a perspective of the Adventist Church through your eyes and through the young people's eyes as well. So I'm planting that seed, but not holding you to anything, but just yeah, you're just bringing back memories of when you did ask a few poignant questions that were very well received by the guests and the audience.
Well, I hope that one young
Oh,
person in
you've
the
just
audience
gone.
right now that is probably listening will be the one to take up the seeds.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right.
You'll have to message me their details, and I'll get in touch with them.
Right.
So yeah, just the last thing about the past. Then we can drop back in on it as well. Um, you hit up a really good friendship with Gillian Ford as well in our conversations and whatnot. What are some of your memories about dealing with her behind the scenes with some of the things we were planning and getting off the ground with interviews?
Yeah, I really appreciated the friendship that I had with her, because she gave me some material that would have been locked in some archives or in some library that I would not be able to get. But she freely gave me some letters, some documents written by theologians and from Dr. Ford himself, and even some books that uh, were written by Dr. Ford were sent to me here in the Philippines. And I would forever be grateful for that opportunity of getting to know her, getting to work with her. Yeah, she can be very strict at times, but very motherly indeed. Yeah,
One thing I remember is lots of laughter. The three of us would
right,
be chatting, and there'd be lots of laughter there. So yeah, and I do remember the interview with George Knight, because he and I were getting quite heated,
right,
and I could tell he wasn't understanding me, and I wasn't getting where he was coming from, and he blurted out, "You're just asking the wrong questions." And I remember saying to him, "Well, you've got to see me as a street epistemologist. I'm asking you what you believe and why you believe it, and can you defend it?" And there was a moment he went, ah, right, okay, I get where you're coming
Mhm.
from. And for those that watched that interview, it's in season 2 with George Knight. The last half an hour is a very warm conversation. And I think, like you just said, the truth can withstand scrutiny. And what
Right.
I've found is that it can also build strong connections and friendships with people, where people who have very diverse views can actually settle upon common ground and laugh and be friends and have a warm civil conversation. I certainly didn't agree with a lot of what Bill Johnson said, but boy, I really appreciated him as a person, and the conversation was really warm and friendly. So tell us what happened after that. You finished your course. Did you go out and pastor a church? What happened to Lance after he finished his course there? And tell us where you're from and where you did the study as well.
Yeah. So after after college, there at Mountain View College in Valencia City, Bukidnon, the southern part of the Philippines. Before graduation, I was immediately called to teach some Bible subjects to one of the premier Adventist academies here in the South Philippines, which is Mindanao Mission Academy. So you have the picture of the school as my background. It's a very big school. We serve currently to about 1,200 students, and I'm teaching uh, 12th graders, more than 300 of them, and it's a very uh, amazing experience of having to interact with young people, getting to know their experiences, to teach them. And you know what? Uh, the subject that I'm teaching them is a subject that is close to the heart of Adventists and close to the heart of Dr. Ford, which is Daniel and Revelation. And I'm
Mm.
teaching this to students who are 70% not Adventist. They're Catholics. Some of them are like Mormons. Some of them are from other Christian groups. So only 30% of them are Adventist. But my goal in teaching is for them to see Jesus in all these prophecies, establishing a relationship with them. And it's amazing what God can do.
Is it an Adventist run school?
Yes, it's operated by the local union here, and yeah, it serves to young people that are living here at the southern part of the Philippines.
When that sounds amazing, and is it different to what you thought you would be doing? Because when you were doing the ministry course, did you think you were going to come out and pastor? And why do you think you took a tack into teaching instead of pastoring?
Yeah, I've always thought of myself as somebody that will be highly used in the classroom. Like, I do not think that while I may be able to pastor a church, but at the same time, back then, I wasn't very fluent in speaking the local language that are here, so I would not be able to be that useful in communicating to people, taking care of them. But if I'm in the school and then I'm using English most of the time, I would be able to communicate myself very freely and expressing my ideas in a very clear way, in a very simple manner, and would be appreciated by the students. And before I graduated, I remember praying to God that, Lord, I would not want to apply to anything, like to any job. Like I would want you to pick out the job for me. And you know what? He did. Before I graduated, I got a call that a local Adventist academy is trying to get a young Bible teacher. And most of my teachers uh, got me got me there, like recommended my name there. And I've never regretted teaching at Mindanao Mission Academy.
Mm, that's great. And I've kind of titled today's conversation Pastoral Care in the Philippines, even though I know that you have kind of been doing teaching. What I've often felt that your role has been in my association with you is you do offer this care, this, and it's
Right.
pastoral care, whether you're teaching, whether you are asking questions in the interview, chatting behind the scenes with you, myself, and Gillian. Um, you were always a person that I saw as being very affable, friendly, and caring, and and I think that's a valuable trait to pass on to the students that you're connecting with as well.
Yeah, because most of the students here come from very below middle class families, and so uh, many of them are in the school, in our school, just trying to get the feel of what Adventist education is all about. They're sponsored by the government, and many of them comes from broken families, and the community is filled with like gangs and drugs, cigarettes, teenage pregnancy, and so for them to be under my care is not only a it's not only simply my job, but I believe that it's a calling for me from the Lord to take care of them and to give them hope and something to look forward to in the future. That not everything is uh, only pain and suffering, but something bright is on the horizon.
Yes, yes. You mentioned that also when you were finishing your um, ministerial degree, that you took on a kind of a real focus on health. Um, and tell us a little bit about that journey.
Right. When we were doing the when we are doing the podcast during 2020, like I was weighing for about 95 kilograms, and then I thought to myself that I would not be a great advocate for living a disciplined life if they see me as not disciplined enough. And so I took that as a challenge. People around me were telling me that I needed to change, and I gave up. I gave up the sugars. I gave up the colas, and slowly but surely, I ate healthy, did some exercise, and my weight just dropped. My weight just dropped from 95 kilograms to about 70 kilograms at the moment. And so I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I feel healthier. I feel much more alive and happier and
Yeah.
happier.
Oh, it looks like it's really working. Now, look,
Yeah.
we're getting lots of questions, but for some reason they're not coming up on the screen. Um, so I'm just trying to find a button here to see if I can rectify that. I can see them popping up on my screen. We've got Kelly Byrne has said hi. Andy Mack has said hi. Um, it's hard for me to read the questions on the monitors. I'll persist in trying to get them up on the screen. Debbie Hooper Cozier has asked, hi Lance, Debbie here, how do you approach Daniel and Revelation when it could come across as anti-Catholic, when you mentioned there's a high Catholic um, number of students there?
Uh, I would suggest that Dr. Ford presents like even the most uncomfortable subjects uh, with simplicity and with clarity because he uplifts Christ and he lifts up the gospel. And so I would say that in our approach to Daniel and Revelation, even if it comes across as sometimes targeted towards other religious groups, we must remember that what we're doing is to uplift Christ, to uplift the gospel, and we're not out there to attack people. We're there to love people, and yeah, just present them with the grace of Jesus Christ.
So you keep it very much gospel based, good news
Yeah.
based, and you're more saying that there's prophecies here that point to the gospel, that point to the end times and point to
Mm.
Jesus. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this fundraiser kind of idea that we were chatting about that you mentioned. Um, what is it exactly, and what is it? What's the purpose of it? Now I'm wanting to also do here, and this is why I'm wishing I could have the questions come up. For some reason, they're not showing your end, are they? I mean, you might be able to see them on Facebook, but they should be showing down the side of your screen there. Can you see that they're not there? Um, I'm just going to try something and hopefully not boot us off. If it does, just be patient, everyone. We'll be back. But I do need these. And I think I'm back. And let's see if that's retweaked the questions. Did I disappear there for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Like, if someone watching could ask a question, that would be great. Just want to test it's working because some people may have some more questions to ask. So, yeah, tell us about this fundraiser and what you're doing now, the purpose of it. And I'm just bringing up here something we don't often do. So please don't request we do it all the time. It's something I'm doing especially for Lance because he really helped us out at the beginning. SDAQ&A season 2 onwards would not have happened without Lance. And so I want to honor him, thank him, and he's a very honorable man. Any money that you send to him through his PayPal, which I've just put on the screen, will definitely go to the cause. He's not taking a percentage for himself. There's no commission. It's going directly to that cause. So just when you send him that money, just maybe they can make a note that it's for this cause that you're about to tell us about. So yeah, so it's the usual https forward slashes paypal.me/Lance Cameron Eggy. And I've found that I just type paypal.me/ and that comes up as well. So over to you. Tell us a bit about it. And it looks like the questions are working. That's good. Rodney Smith is watching. He's saying hi. Kelly has asked, did I get the cables sorted? No, Kelly. Unfortunately, we're still, the wind must be in the right direction today because it is working. But I have spent literally hours with our telephone provider, and they reassure me that any day it's getting sorted. And if not, Peter Mashenko is going to come up with a whole bunch of Ethernet cables, and we're going to run it up through the roof and over the from the studio into the house. It's going to work, but it's working today. Over to you, Lance. Tell us about this project.
Yeah. So aside from my teaching responsibilities at the school where I'm currently employed, I'm also the assistant school chaplain. So basically, I'm also pastoring all these students, 1,200 of them, and I'm also director for campus ministries at the school. And to cater to such a group of people is something that I would really want to do well. And I asked Peter if we can do this a little bit of fundraising for me to be supported in the work that I'm doing. The school that I'm in uh, has their other financial obligations in which I wouldn't want to, let's say, burden them. But just to give you a picture of where I'm at, here's a well,
Yeah, well, it won't show with the backdrop. Oh, yeah, there we go. We can see that.
yeah. So basically, this is my office that I'm currently serving at. So this is the chaplain's office, and as you can see, uh, it's simply a room. It's simply a room that has nothing there but dust in it. But we've started to clean it up a little bit and put some tables so that people would love to come. And my dream and my desire is that the room would be, let's say, nice and presentable enough that students would love to come and pray with me and talk with me, and I could just share them Christ and uh, give them the gospel. And
Because people, students particularly, love to gather in a nice environment, don't they? Don't
right,
they? It's definitely something they like to do, and I'm imagining that the school, like you said, there's a bit of a low socioeconomic environment there, and what you're suggesting is that with money that people donate, you would love to decorate this place and make it a really special kind of location for the students to hang out and
yeah,
sit comfortably and relaxed. And um, so you've got your eye on some um, furniture and that kind of thing as well.
yes, so that they would feel comfortable and that it's a place that they would love to get in. But currently, at the moment, the place is hot and the place is not so good. There are students that come because they feel at home with me, but it would be a much greater experience for them if the place where I'm calling for people to come is a place that's comfortable and nice.
And we'll just bring up Gillian is watching, and she's just written a comment here. Here we go. Lovely office, Lance. Good to see you now. You're out working. Because I guess it was 2020 when we first kind of met up and started working on season 2. So, it's like a good 4 years ago. And well, look,
Time passes quickly.
what's that? Yeah, it's
Yeah, time passes quickly.
it's been a very interesting journey, hasn't it? The last 4 years for everybody. So tell us some other things about. So Rodney Smith has asked what part of the Philippines. He might have missed the earlier bit, so just relate that again.
I'm currently at the southern part of the Philippines in Mindanao, especially the school where I'm at is at a place called Manticao, Misamis Oriental, southern part of the Philippines.
And I'm just bringing up that PayPal there again. Lance is working on creating a space for the students to come and hang out where he can run all sorts of things, so that instead of just a bare room, he's going to stock it there with new furniture. I can imagine things like maybe a TV or bookcases, lots of books. People might even like to donate some books, maybe. I don't know. There's probably already a library, but specific books. Um, so I'm just bringing that back up. If you'd like to support what Lance is doing, get behind his ministry there. And I know it'll all go to this room, and will really. You might be able to send us some photos in a couple of months' time of what it looks like. We'd definitely love that. That'd be really good. So tell us a little bit more about the interim period of your studies to now. You've been working on your health. You've been loving the teaching position. Uh, is that about 2 years worth at that school now, or 1 year?
Yeah, I'm teaching for 2 years now. Uh, before graduating college, I thought that I would go straight to doing some master studies, preferably in the seminary here at the Philippines, or hopefully in Andrews. But uh, it's not yet part of God's plan. He wants me to work. after college, and the experience has been great, to learn how to tell the good news of the gospel in a way that's simple and easy to understand, that even the young children can grasp. And if if I didn't have this experience, I wouldn't know if I would be as effective as I would be with what I had back then.
Mm, mm. Now, I've seen, and tell me if I'm prying, I've seen some photos of a lovely person in your life, maybe. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Or is that a private topic? A no-go zone?
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. Well, since college, I've been with my girlfriend now for the past 6 years. We've met when I
Oh,
was yeah we've met since our first year back in 2018, and
right.
yeah, we're still going strong.
So you guys were
Uh,
dating even when you were involved with the SDAQ&A stuff?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, she was the one who's telling me that like, hey, you need to contact these people right now. So she was working as my
Yeah.
personal secretary at that time.
She was like a management kind of
Yeah.
personal assistant. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Now,
So she took,
sorry, go ahead.
so she took up medical technology, graduated, and currently working now at a local laboratory. And also, she's planning to travel to Australia probably next year and work
Great.
there. And so we're kind of long distance right now, but it's okay.
So where is she living now?
She's living like 6 hours from where I am currently at.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, Rodney has mentioned that he lived in the Philippines and he's been over there at least 10 times to Isabella. Um, I toured the Philippines with my gospel group probably before you were born. And we called ourselves the Avondale Trio, and there were four of us in the group. But we toured all over the Philippines. We did something like 21 concerts in 17 days. And I remember singing somewhere in Mindanao, somewhere in Isabella.
Really?
In Manila, we sang at the printing, publishing company there, and at the Adventist church there. And I'm not sure if I've told you that or not. Kay Judge, isn't that funny? I didn't tell you it was such a big thing in my life. We had such a good time. But yeah, Kay Judge has written, "You're doing a great work there, Lance."
Thank you so much.
And I'll just bring up, I'll leave it up there for the rest of the interview. Actually, I'm talking to Lance Cameron Eggy, very instrumental in helping us with season 2, getting off the ground. I was about to give up SDA Q&A altogether. Go back to the beginning if you're just joining us, and you can hear me unpack that story a little bit more. But currently, Lance, who has finished his degree in ministry, did theology there. Where was it again? The name of the
Mountain View College,
Mountain View College. Um, and he is now teaching at
Mindanao Mission Academy.
Mission Academy, and he's got a bit of a mission, a goal to set up this room there to make it a really comfortable place for the students to hang out. And there's something like 1,200 students at the
Yeah.
school, only 30% Adventist. There's a big Catholic community in the Philippines, isn't there? Something like
Yes.
95%. What's next after that? Just a smattering of Hindu, Muslim, Protestant
Yeah.
denominations.
Aside from Catholics, there is a huge population of Muslim people, especially at where I'm at the south. So there's lots of Muslim people, and then after that are different Protestant groups, uh, Pentecostal churches, and then there's some small sects here and there, and the the Adventist church here is around 1 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow. Is the Adventist community well respected and well received in the Philippines?
Yes, there are lots of Adventists here who are working for the government, and Adventists are known for the many hospitals that we have, the the great schools that the church operates here, and since the students that our colleges produced are very fine people, the Adventist church is thriving and is well received by the people here.
Mm. Now, Kay has just added, I'll bring it up on the screen, that coincidentally, she has just been working on a student centre designed for outdoor students at Sonoma in the South Pacific there. And they're going to make one that's timber and bush materials to be cost effective. So, yeah, Kay, if you know anyone that's been donating money to your cause and would like it to spill over into Lance's cause, that'd be terrific. He can be donations can be made to his PayPal account. And as I said earlier, he will ensure that all the monies there go to his ministry. Now, Lance, the Wednesday interviews are what I call the reaction videos to what things that are happening, and they're usually 30 to 45 minutes long. So we're kind of coming to the end of that time. But you know me, I can talk for 2.5, 3 hours easily. So
Right.
I'm not trying to wrap it up, but usually on the Wednesdays we do finish after about 45 minutes. Is there anything else you'd like to kind of add and talk and share about, or have we covered
Yeah.
all we need for today?
Yeah. My greatest memories at SDAQ&A was not only the Bill Johnson interview, but to also contact Fritz Guy, Larry
Yes.
Garrity.
Now, did
Uh,
you have some post-interview contact with those guys as well?
oh no.
But you
Uh,
mean, but during the interview kind of situation?
yeah, but having them over and tell their story,
Yeah.
yeah, it was nice. Also, uh, George Knight, and then uh, Kenneth Samples.
Yes. Actually, I'm just bringing up. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can bring it up on the screen or not. Um, but there's. Yeah, I don't know if I can. But I'm just looking down the screen there. I'll see if I can bring it up. I can share. Um, but it won't let me localize it. But there you go. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. There's a big list there from Bill Johnson, Dr. Godfrey, Norm Young, Ross Cole, John Rosier, Kenneth Samples. We go down Lyle Heiss, Harry Ballas, Irish Yob, Graham Fraunfelder. I'm just jumping through them. Dr. Alden Thompson, Robert Brinsmead a couple of times,
Right.
Nils Eric Andreasen, John Carter, Ron Numbers. That was an interesting one, wasn't it? Ron
Yes.
Numbers and Jonathan Butler. Boy, Harry Allen, George Knight, Eric Anderson, John Pauline, Eliezer Gonzalez from Good News
I
Unlimited.
really like the John Pauline interview. Like
Wasn't it good?
you asked the questions that you asked the question that, like, what happened with you during the PUC forum 1979, and then he mentioned that he was with Hans Larondel, and then Hans Larondel was telling him that if Des does shut up, like, this doctrine would have died, but
Yeah.
now that he has spoken up about it, we're gonna deal with it until time goes on. Yeah, that was
Yes.
a very great that was a
Great.
very good uh, insight to the story.
Yes. Yes. You've just kind of inspired me. I wonder if we could go through these interviews one day and just do little 10-minute takes from them. Like we could look at them, edit maybe 5 or 6 interesting comments that they made, and just do little 10-minute mini episodes of season 2, just to, because I'm currently uploading them all to YouTube, and it's a big job.
Mm.
But wouldn't that'd be a fun little side project to just I'll chat to you about that offline, because you and Adrian and Gillian really remember a lot of the interviews better than I do,
Mm.
and you could just pick little snippets of them and we could release them. And who is the person you were thinking of that might be watching now that could maybe help out with doing some interviews?
No, I wasn't pointing out anybody, like, but if
Oh, I
some,
see what you mean. Someone
yeah,
watching now might be able to. I see what you mean.
yeah.
Right. Someone watching now might say, put their hand up for the job of. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's ponder that. Um, that's great. Well, any more you'd like to chat about, Lance, or we leave you to your busy day? What are you doing today?
Uh, right. This week is holiday week for everybody,
Ah,
and so I'm just here at my house, doing nothing but reading, and then resting from all the work.
oh, that's
But
good.
also excited about what's to come after this. I'm very happy to have this interview and to share some great memories that I have with all of you guys. And uh, my prayer is that as far as the Lord allows, that I'll be working at the school, that He would use me to be a blessing to these young people. And I'm also asking for your prayers because aside from the chaplaincy room, I'm also praying for people who would be a part of the next phase of my life, and that is I'm praying for the opportunity to study for a master's degree and to also work my way up in my education.
Because that's costly as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. So maybe when people make a donation, and I've listed it just down here, to paypal.me/Lance Cameron Eggy, um, maybe they can write money for the school room, or money towards your master's degree, just so that you can know which one to send to which
yeah,
part. But altogether, it's your ministry. So yeah, so I'm just encouraging people to donate via PayPal to Lance's ministry there, and it's been so good catching up with you today and just seeing how everything's flourishing and heading in the right direction. You're looking great, nice and healthy, and you're having a well-earned break this week. So yeah, so look, let's see if there's any questions that have popped up. Um, this is Pabriza has written, my paternal grandfather, Robert Caldwell, had a lot to do with early Adventism in the Philippines. Ah,
right,
interesting.
right.
Had you heard of his name pop up at all?
Yes, the first missionary here in the Philippines, Robert Caldwell.
Wow.
Yeah, the early Adventist missionaries here had to put up with a strong Catholic population. Some
Mm,
of them being thrown with rocks every time they stand up to preach. Yeah, those were hard times.
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's related to Ivan Caldwell that lives down here on the Central Coast. Yes. Okay. Well, unless you've got further to add, we will leave it there today. Been great to see you, and I'd love a follow-up interview.
yeah,
Maybe in a month or two, you can chat to us again. What I'd like to do is maybe, can you pick one of the interviews of season 2 and just go through it, and oh, actually, they're all on. Just do the 2 that are on YouTube. There's the Bill Johnson and the John Godfrey at the moment, just
Mm-mm.
watch those if in your spare time, and just give me the time code of when something interesting has been said, and give me maybe 5 to 10 things that are interesting, and then we'll bring you back on and we'll do a short 10-minute look at that interview and a couple of the highlights. And you can tell me offline if not, you haven't got time for that. But that's something I'm going to definitely pursue, and you might like to help with that. And every time you come on and help, we'll put up your PayPal to give it a plug for you.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you everyone for watching, and I've been chatting with Lance Cameron-Eggy. Send some PayPal dollars his way. And until next time, Lance, great to see you. And we'll see you again. Sooner than later, I hope.
Yeah. God bless you abundantly.
Good to
Yeah.
catch up, mate. See you later.